The story begins with Takeru, a corporate schmuck stuck in a meaningless cycle of going to his life-draining job and coming back to an empty home, until one day, he is summoned to save another planet in the universe. One day, when he is sitting on his couch, he feels tired of the endless grind and wishes there was something out of the ordinary in his life. That is when he gets summoned to a fancy tea party in a bright white place. He takes his seat and asks the graceful man sitting across the table who he is. The man explains he is something like the Lord of the Universe who oversees the solar system, sort of like the manager of a space corporation. After getting Takeru up to speed, the overseer explains he is having trouble managing the planet named Meaningless, so he has decided to get involved. The overseer continues that he plans to drop a water bead into the world that will create waves big enough to have a ripple effect on the whole planet, and that water bead is him. Hearing that, Takeru is overwhelmed by the great responsibility and refuses, but the overseer lets him know he is dead and his soul will just fade away into nothing if he says no. Takeru flips out on hearing the bombshell news, but the overseer calms him down by assuring him that he will bless him with any gifts that he desires. When Takeru asks what that is supposed to mean, he gives him ideas like unlimited mana, a scouting skill so he can collect valuable materials to make money easily, and a bag to store them. After some deep thought, Takeru asks for a cute partner, and the overseer assures him he will meet her on his journey. Just then, Takeru's soul starts fading away, so he hurriedly jots some things down and wonders if he will do fine with the short list of gifts. While Takeru yells at him for taking his life so lightly, the man sends him off with a good luck wish, and the next thing he knows, he wakes up from his nap in the middle of the forest. He is at a loss about what to do first, so he sets off to find the nearest village. Soon, he manages to find one but realizes he needs some money if he wants to buy food there. That is when he remembers the overseer blessed him with a scouting skill and goes into the forest, yelling scouting with excitement. He is instantly embarrassed when nothing happens and wonders if he used the wrong incantation, so he tries different words until he finds the right one, and every collectible around him lights up with symbols. Takeru is amazed by its functionality and wonders if there is a way to get more detailed info on the materials. As expected, a menu pops up when he chants scan, and shows that the flower in his hands is a beer rank item. With that, he collects all the materials in the area and feels a little disappointed when he sees that most of them are bottom-tier trash. Suddenly, he notices a shiny stone in the mix and thinks it looks quite beautiful, rubbing it like a genie lamp, but he soon discovers it is a C-rank item called Hammer Anteater's Shiny Poo. He is quite disappointed that the best item in his haul is animal droppings, but he decides he has gathered enough and heads to the nearest village before night falls. At the entrance, the guard is impressed by his tall height and asks if he is a battle-hardened warrior, but Takeru introduces himself as a humble gatherer. The guard named Marlowe explains that the village does not have any specialist shop where he can sell his materials, but he tells him to give the general store a shot. Inside the village, Takeru gets a lot of strange looks because of his height. Soon, he finds the general store where a suspicious shopkeeper named Jerome asks the tall guy what he is looking for. Right away, Takeru asks the man to appraise the magnificent poop he picked up, and the shopkeeper is so amazed by its quality that he questions how Takeru even found it. The man immediately offers him 5 silvers for it, but Takeru shyly asks if 5 silvers is enough, and wonders how much a night at the inn costs. The shopkeeper explains that one night costs 5,000, and a silver is worth 1,000, which shocks him because that means the poop is worth 50,000 bucks. With that, he seals the deal, and the shopkeeper is so thrilled that he even rubs his face against the treasure. After that, Takeru shows off his other materials, and the man wonders why he would sell such valuable things in a remote place. When Takeru explains he is just a traveler who collects items, the shopkeeper offers him a risky but high-paying job to gather mithril ore from the mountains. At first, Takeru hesitates, but he agrees to give it a try if he can get a map. The shopkeeper drops a bag with 3.5 million bucks inside and wishes him good luck on his journey, casually warning that there might be monsters waiting at the end. Later that night at the inn, Takeru lies on the bed, wishing he could take a warm bath. Just then, a cute maid knocks on his door and brings him a bowl of warm water almost as small as her. When he asks how he is supposed to take a shower with that, She explains the best he can do is wipe himself since only nobles can afford a real bath. Takeru's disappointment is immeasurable when he hears there are no baths, so the mate tells him she heard that mages can clean people with magic, but there aren't any mages in the village. However, that gives him hope, and he quickly thanks her with a generous tip. After she leaves, Takeru starts testing different chants for the cleaning spell until a stream of water suddenly wraps around his body and leaves him squeaky clean. While he is glad, it feels refreshing, it still doesn't match the satisfaction of a hot, steamy bath. The next morning, he sees Loot with a spade symbol for the first time since he started using his skill, but just as he moves through the bushes to check it, he gets jump scared by a dead body. After calming down, he looks closer and finds a letter beside it from the person's sister, thanking him for helping their father, and begging him to stay safe and come home soon. Takeru feels bad and gives the body a proper burial. At sunset, he draws a magic circle around him to make a barrier and starts cooking soup on a makeshift stove powered by firestones. Once he adds the high-quality meat, he takes a sip and celebrates eating the best soup he has ever tasted. During the night, he walks through the forest of the ancient dragon, using a light spell to help gather materials along the way. Takeru notices how strange it is that there are no monsters or even signs of life, but he decides to take the wind and speed runs to the light he thinks is the forest exit. However, he runs straight off the edge and plunges into a massive ravine, where he quickly figures out the magic word for flight and barely saves himself from a painful crash landing. At the bottom, he is stunned to see an overwhelming number of ore signals scattered everywhere, so he whips out his pickaxe and starts mining. After extracting all the silver in the area, he begins searching for Misril ore when suddenly, the ground shakes violently. Realizing he should probably leave before the whole place collapses, he decides to speed up his mining by launching an explosion spell at the next ore he spots. To his delight, it turns out to be Misril, but he gets disappointed when he sees the amount is pitifully small, so he makes the bold and stupidly brave decision to go even deeper despite the earthquakes. As he ventures down, Takeru spots a narrow tunnel that opens into a vast cave glowing with a blue light. When he gets closer, his eyes widen in awe at the sight of an underground lake with unbelievably pure water, and when his scan reveals it is double S-rank dragon mana water, his jaw hits the floor. He goes deep in thought, wondering if the ancient dragon once lived here, and completely ignores the furious dragon's voice echoing through the cave, demanding to know who dares disturb his slumber. Right as Takeru cluelessly scoops his hands to take a sip, the calm surface explodes, and a colossal dragon emerges, furiously locking its eyes onto the human who dared ignore its words. Hearing the dragon's intimidating roar, Takeru just gives it a dumbfounded look, impressing the beast that he can withstand its crushing aura. Then, he immediately drops to his knees, bowing to the mythical creature like it were his angry boss from back home. Amused by his boldness, the dragon asks for his name and is surprised to learn he is just a human. He points out that the mana flowing through Takeru's body is so pure and abundant that it accidentally awakened him from his long sleep. Takeru acts clueless about his magic potential, but the dragon states he has nearly the same amount of power as himself and introduces himself as the ancient dragon Voldius. Takeru thinks the name is too complex and casually asks if he can call him Mr. Vol instead. Voldius is surprisingly not offended and instead asks Takeru to lend him some of his pure mana to help hatch his child. The dragon explains that his own magic is impure and the egg cannot hatch because of that, offering to reward him with a large chunk of Misril ore in exchange for his help. After that, Voldius points at the lake and causes a massive black egg to rise from the glowing water. Holding the egg carefully, Takeru asks how to hatch it, and Voldius tells him to channel his magic into it the same way he did when creating his magic light. When he casts heat magic on the egg to make it hatch, the overwhelming flow of energy drains his soul dry. While the dragon laughs like a maniac, Takeru regrets that he will die so soon, right after coming to such a wonderful new world. Next, he feels his soul sink into a vast ocean, where a black-haired version of the Overseer appears, surprised that he did not run away when he saw the dragon like a normal person, and he's already changed the world's laws this early. Seeing Takeru's confusion, the black-haired Overseer admits he is jealous that Takeru achieved more in days than he did in thousands of years. After that, he says he will nerf the blessings his counterpart gave him, and adds that Takeru's request for a cute partner will be coming true soon. Then, Takeru wakes up to the sound of a strange bird call. He tells Voldius it is not cute to make weird noises at his age, but when he casts a light spell, he sees a tiny dragon baby. Voldius tells him to give the newborn a name, and Takeru is shocked to receive such a huge honor. The ancient dragon humbles him, clarifying that it already has a true name and his choice will only serve as a nickname. After thinking hard for a solid minute, Takeru decides to name it Beaver Black, because it has black skin. Voldius confuses it and admits he also likes Beaver Black. Voldius. With that settled, the ancient dragon says he will entrust his baby to Takeru, leaving him stunned that he is fine trusting his kid to a complete nobody. Voldius explains he can trust him because Takeru is strong, and after zapping the reward into his bag, the mighty dragon slowly descends back into the lake. Takeru then asks the little one if it will join him on his gathering journey, and the cutie pie lets out a cheerful roar. Before setting off, Takeru gives Bee a proper cleaning to wash off the painfully fishy smell. Once the two finally step out of the cave, the sun is already setting, and Takeru is hungry, so he tells Bee it is time to set up camp. He scoops some of the mana water into a glass from his bag, which Voldius had linked to the underground lake back in the cave. Bee happily gulps down a full cup and immediately asks for more, so Takeru keeps pouring the magic water until the little guy has had his fill, so he grows strong and healthy. Then, Bee surprises him by asking if he wants a drink too, so after hydrating with the cool, refreshing water, Takeru sets up a barrier around their camp. He recalls he learned at the general store that magic stones are a rare resource, but that's not a problem since he can easily create them from nothing using his unlimited magic. Once the campfire burns bright, he fries a steak and cooks some soup, proudly showing Bee his combo meal. Even though it's the same meat soup he has eaten every day since leaving town, Takeru still loves it too much to ever get tired. Just then, he spots Bee staring with starry eyes and drooling like a starving puppy, so he fills a tiny bowl for him. The moment Bee takes a sip, he lets out a cute squeak after burning his tongue. When Takeru cools the soup down, Bee starts gulping one bowl after another until the little guy is so full that he flops on the ground, ready to sleep. Seeing that, Takeru feels relieved that Bee can eat the same food as him and does not have to just watch him every meal while drinking just water. Still, he asks if the little one feels lonely being away from his real family, but the cute munchkin climbs into his lap and lets out a small roar. Takeru takes it as his way of saying he is fine as long as they are together, and that thought warms his heart. Just then, he scans Bee's status and notices that the B-rank baby dragon already has some absurdly strong skills. Even so, he believes the little one still needs protection, so he gives a short lecture about not doing anything dangerous even if he feels strong. But before he can finish, Bee is already dozing off. At that moment, Takeru is a little concerned that this is the cute partner he wished for, and wonders if the overseer really pranked him with a reptile partner. The next morning, he climbs up a steep hill while Bee lazily flies behind him, and he notices that the dark forest he passed through before no longer looks eerie or dangerous. While Bee flaps around in random directions, Takeru starts scanning the nearby area for new herbs and materials. Just then, Bee suddenly darts toward him, eyes wide with panic, so Takeru quickly activates his scan and finds several hidden enemies waiting in the bushes. He realizes it might have been his nasty body odor from before that kept the monsters away, and they are back again now that it is gone. Still, he gets excited thinking about the new materials he can get from them. At that moment, a rock falcon appears from behind and violently roars, but he isn't scared at all since the thing looks more like a hamster compared to Voldius. When the scan shows it as juicy thigh meat, Takeru even starts drooling. He quickly sets up a magic shield and summons icicles that pierce straight through the falcon's chest, easily scoring a free source of juicy meat. After that, Bee warns him about a wolf pack behind them, but all Takeru sees is even more free meat. When one of the wolves charges at him, he casts speed and weight reduction magic to make his body light enough that a single jump launches him into the air. Then, he uses Harden to boost his strength and knocks the wolf out with a solid kick to the head. Next, He easily dodges their snake-like tails and punches another one right in the nose. B is amazed watching him show off the range of his long legs, and soon he finishes off the rest of the pack. After that, Takeru happily collects the free meat and prepares to move forward, until he detects over 100 monsters waiting for him in the forest. B notices that he is not sure what to do, so the little dragon tries its hardest to lift him into the air. Takeru helps by casting weight reduction on himself, but that only sends them shooting straight up so fast that he screams like a maniac, catching the attention of a blonde girl nearby. Then, B suddenly loses grip on his hoodie and sends him nosediving into the ground, though the trees luckily soften his fall. Later, he wakes up to be licking his face with that familiar fishy smell, and he realizes they have already made it to the other side of the forest. Seeing that, he thanks B for the fast travel but warns the little guy to go easier on him next time, since he is just a human. When Takeru praises him, B gets so happy that he hugs him tight and accidentally headbutts him right in the liver. On their way back to the village, B grows curious about the stick in Takeru's hand, so he explains it is a branch from Yggdrasil that he found in his bag. Hearing that, the baby dragon puffs a bit of magic smoke on it, and the stick instantly transforms into a large wooden staff. Takeru is surprised to see the stick grow so big from just a puff of magic breath, and hopes it does not make people mistake him for some great magician. Right then, a monstrous roar echoes through the forest, and he tells B to stay cautious. As the noise grows louder, B gets impatient and flies straight toward it, forcing Takeru to follow. When he catches up, he finds the baby dragon circling a tree and discovers an injured elf hiding behind it. Seeing her condition, he asks if a monster attacked her, but it turns out the monstrous roar came from her stomach, which has been empty for 3 days. Takeru quickly gives her some water, which she drinks to the last drop, but it does nothing for her hunger, so he hands her the lunch he bought from the village as well. As soon as she sees food, she snatches it from his hand and devours the cold taco, her taste buds feeling like they are in heaven after starving so long. After that, he asks why she has no food even though she is close to the village, and the elf replies that she was in too much of a hurry. Takeru mocks her for such a rookie mistake, which makes her furious enough to get right in his face. However, her terrible smell catches him off guard, and he blurts out that he thought elves were supposed to smell like fresh flowers instead of dung fertilizer. Hearing that, the elf turns red with outrage, thanks him begrudgingly for the help, and runs off to take a bath while yelling that telling her she smells like dung was completely uncalled for. After that weird encounter, Takeru gathers a few more materials and heads out of the forest, where B points to a carriage in the distance. When he spots the unicorn pulling it, he looks amazed, and the man driving the carriage asks if he needs a lift. While Takeru mentions that he is heading to Tormi village, the man notices his staff and wonders if he is a mage. Even though Takeru insists he is just a gatherer, the man seems impressed and offers him a ride since his family is also bound for the village. At first, Takeru hesitates, saying he might be too big to fit in the carriage, but the man's kids laugh as they think it is a joke, so he laughs along and hops in. The man's daughter invites Takeru to sit with her, and he ends up getting along surprisingly well with the children, which works in his favor since it lowers their parents' guard. During the ride, the man comments that the carriage runs smoothly even with a big guy like him aboard, and his wife proudly says that Tormi Village's motto is to help anyone in need. Takeru is impressed by how bold the little kids are to travel at such a young age, and when they get too friendly with him, he jokingly asks what they would do if he turned out to be a dangerous criminal. The son laughs at his silly question, saying the magic bell would have already gone off, and their mother shows the handy item that rings whenever someone dangerous approaches. Seeing the magic stone inside, Takeru realizes he could probably make one himself, and gives his name when he remembers he hasn't introduced himself yet. The mother introduces herself and the kids, and the man says he is Porin. Just then, B's voice leaks out from Takeru's cloak, and the kids curiously ask what he is hiding. Takeru tries to play it off as just a rare monster he keeps with him, but Eliza assures him there is no need to be secretive since many adventurers have monsters as companions. Hearing that, Takeru tells B to come out and promise not to bite anyone, and the moment the kids see the little guy, they instantly become fans, while the parents recognize it as a dragon type. Porn asks if that means Takeru is a dragon knight, so he explains that he simply found an egg by sheer luck and hatched it, but that only amazes them more. Eliza tells him that dragon knights are rare, and few people have ever seen a real dragon. Takeru thinks the class came straight out of a game, and he looks forward to meeting an actual dragon knight someday. Later that night, he surprises the family with his light magic and sets up a barrier like usual, and when they ask if that is enough to keep monsters away, he assures them that B will always guard them if anything happens. Hearing that, the entire family feels instantly at ease, and Takeru realizes how deeply people trust dragons in this world. Then, Eliza says it is time to cook dinner, but Takeru offers to handle it instead as a token of thanks. He pulls out 3 giant pots and a dozen ingredients from his bag, shocking the kids into thinking he is some amazing mage. He laughs and admits he is not even close, saying it is all thanks to his item box. After that, he cooks up a fiery meal like always, impressing Porn's whole family, and the moment the kids taste it, their faces melt with joy. Eliza compliments Takeru's top-tier cooking skills, while Porn suddenly lowers his head, trembling as tears start to fall. When his wife asks what is wrong, the man bursts into tears of happiness, saying he's been craving real food after eating nothing but jerky, and seeing his kids so happy makes it even better. The grown man's emotional meltdown makes Takeru burst into laughter, and they all joke and laugh about it. After that, Porn brings out a guitar and starts playing, while Eliza sings, letting the kids and B show off their groovy dance moves. As the children pull him in to dance with them, Takeru realizes he never knew how heartwarming nights like this could be compared to eating alone in an empty room back home. The next morning, B and the kids are sleeping soundly while Takeru is already up, carefully polishing his scissors. Eliza appreciates his effort and says people who take care of their tools are good at their job. Takeru thinks gathering might just be his favorite kind of work, and when Porn tells him they will head out after breakfast, a fun idea pops into his head. Turns out, he wanted to drive the carriage. Seeing the unicorn speed up as soon as he orders it to, Porn is impressed by how quickly the two became friends. Soon, the village comes into view, and Porn's family drops him off at the gate, thanking him for helping them out. The guard says it must be spring again if Porn is back, since he always comes around this time to sell clothes, and it is hard for the poor man to feed his family because he is not good at hunting. Takeru realizes that must be why Porn burst into tears when he saw meat after so long, and he figures his gathering skills are a big blessing for people like that. After that, while B plays with the kids outside, he spreads all his materials at Jerome's shop but secretly mixes in some misreal magic ore. The shopkeeper immediately picks up the shiny rocks to appraise them in serious detail, and after making old man noises for a few minutes, Jerome quietly whispers that this is insanely rare misreal magic ore. Takeru is not too surprised since he mixed it in on purpose, but Jerome is dying to know where he found it because it is a legendary material. He explains that a few more pieces of it would give him more power than all the magic stones in the country. When Takeru says he just found it lying around somewhere, the old man gives him advice that he is clearly a genius at gathering rare items, even though he lacks common sense. That is why Jerome suggests he should head to the bustling city of Belkame, where there are tons of information and an adventurer's guild where he can gain knowledge and sell to bigger buyers. Although Jerome regrets losing such a valuable customer, he says he will be happy if Takeru becomes famous and gives his little store a shout out. After he thinks it over for a while, Takeru gets excited about going to the city and spends that night in bed with B, reading up on the Adventurers Guild in Belkame. Lying back in bed, he decides to make the most of living in a fantasy world by becoming an adventurer and earning enough money to travel and see every place he can. Then, he sits up all of a sudden and nearly drops B off the bed, loudly declaring that his next mission is to hit the guild in Belkame and sign up. But after that burst of energy, he gently pets his cute partner and says they should relax first since he still has a few things to do in the village. That night, he heads to the festival where he enjoys some top-tier food while he runs around playing with the kids. The children also drag him along to join their games as usual, and he even brings a chicken piece to the guard because the man's a homie too. He spends the next few days gathering more materials, and on his last day, he collects his processed items from a local lady, who becomes sad and says she will really miss him once he leaves. She tells him everyone in the village wishes he could stay longer, and Takeru admits he wants to stay too, but he also wants to see more of the world than anything else. Hearing that, the lady respects his dream and gives him a lunchbox for the road since the journey to Belkane takes a full month. After making him promise he will visit again someday, she keeps piling on more lunchboxes out of pure kindness, and he feels lucky to have infinite storage. Back in his room, he wonders what he could craft with the leftover magic ore since Jerome did not buy it, and B tries to think hard until the little guy's tiny brain shuts down. When Takeru glances at the old-fashioned lamp on his table, he decides to use his knowledge to create something useful for the village before leaving. Remembering how the guard always works tirelessly, he suddenly gets a crazy idea to fuse the lamp with a magic stone. He focuses hard on visualizing what the item should look like, and it turns out to be a great success. The following morning, as the whole village gathers to send him off with a cheerful farewell, he tells the guard he made a magic item that can create a wide barrier around the village, blocking anyone with evil intentions from entering. The guard cannot believe he is giving away something so valuable, but Takeru says it is his way of returning all the kindness and favors everyone showed him. With that said, he promises he will come back someday, because Tormi Village is his true home, and they share a wholesome farewell moment. However, old man Jerome suddenly grabs the magic item from the guard's hands, hoping Takeru did not actually use the legendary magic stone to make it. But before he can confirm anything, Takeru bolts out of the village at full speed, thrilled to see what kind of place the adventurer's city will be. On the road to Belkane, he enjoys a peaceful walk while listening to Bee's adorable baby dragon noises. Just then, he spots a massive crab monster blocking the path ahead. He scans the mysterious creature with caution, but his frown quickly turns into a grin when he notices its description mentions juicy meat. He excitedly tells the baby dragon that crab meat is absolutely delicious, and he gets ready to hunt it down. Before he makes a single move, though, Bee flies in at full speed and unleashes a supersonic roar that instantly makes the crab fall over and foam from its mouth. Takeru is completely surprised his cute partner can pull off something like that, but then they get ambushed by two more crab monsters, forming a pincer attack from both sides. Standing back to back with Bee, he says it should not be a problem even if they are surrounded, since crabs can only move sideways. But he panics hard the moment he sees the massive crustaceans suddenly sprint straight toward him. Right before the two crabs collide with them, Bee lifts him into the air and the crab monsters smash into each other's faces instead. Takeru thanks Bee and gets down, ready to gather some crab meat, but the first crab suddenly wakes up again and charges at him. Takeru gladly readies his staff, seeing dinner come right to him. He swings it down for a clean home run and fist bumps Bee after their solid teamwork. At night, he slices up the crab legs, tosses them into a gigantic pot he pulled out of somewhere, and heats up some water along with a bag of salt to boil the fine crab meat. After the meat is done simmering, the two practically melt from happiness as they dig into the juicy crab legs. About a month later, Takeru finally reaches his destination. He is stunned by the massive scale and majestic architecture of this city of commerce, known for hosting the strongest guild on the entire continent. Seeing that guards are inspecting everyone, he joins the line and hopes he can disguise his item box as just a normal magic bag. When it is finally his turn, the lady at the gate invites him inside, so he hides Bee and steps in to answer some questions while she checks the items he is carrying. The guard asks if he came to sell materials since he looks like a gatherer, but Takeru explains he is here to become an adventurer. The guard is not surprised since Belkane is the city of trade and adventurers, but he still has to follow procedure, so he asks permission to inspect him using a magic tool that detects suspicious individuals. When the guard finishes the scan, nothing strange appears, and the lady confirms he is clear as well. That makes Takeru curious how regular people see his status, so he quietly uses his appraisal skill on the magic item, which simply identifies him as a guy who is really good at finding quality materials. Luckily, it does not reveal the massive list of blessings the overseer wrote down for him. After that, the guard tells him he is free to enter, but he curiously asks what the dragon's blessing means. Takeru decides to be honest and tells Bee to come out. Both guards instantly light up when they see his adorable little partner, but the guard suggests he should put some kind of mark or tag on B so everyone knows the dragon belongs to him. Hearing that, Takeru suddenly remembers the collar he got from the village kids and carefully puts it on the baby dragon's tail, which the little guy seems to love a lot. Next, they tell him they will report to the mayor that a dragon is in town, but it should not be an issue as long as B behaves. The lady gives Takeru directions to the Adventurers Guild, while the guard opens the gate and warmly welcomes him to Belkame. When he steps out of the dark tunnel and into the open city, he is completely blown away by the vibrant fantasy scenery before him. Without wasting a moment, he heads straight to the grand building marked by a fancy sign. Seeing Takeru shyly peek and step through the front door, a cheerful bunny girl named Ariana greets him and welcomes him to Europa, the guild known for letting almost anyone join. She introduces herself as the receptionist and asks him to fill out his information on the registration form. As Takeru notices he can read the words and wonders how to write, his name magically translates on its own. Ariana is surprised to see that he registered as a material gatherer and asks if he has any real battle experience. Takeru says he has defeated all kinds of monsters, from birds to crabs, but she skeptically asks if he has any actual proof. He warns her he has a really big one in his pocket, but she underestimates him and tells him to bring it out. Hearing that, he casually pulls out a gigantic crab body and drops it on her desk, which instantly crumbles under its massive weight. All the nearby adventurers crowd around in shock when they see Ariana flee in panic, but one of them curiously asks Takeru if he happens to have an item box, and he replies yes. Bear Man uses a strange skill to check and confirms that Takeru is telling the truth because he has a blue aura. Takeru is confused to hear that, so the Bear Man explains he used apples, a detection skill that shows someone is blue if they are not troublemakers. With that said, the Bear Man assures Ariana it is fine to trade with him, but Takeru corrects him that he did not come to sell anything. He actually wants to become an adventurer, and that giant crab is just his dinner. His ridiculous taste in food leaves everyone speechless, but the Bear Man quickly sets that aside and asks him if he is traveling alone. Takeru says he also has a partner, and everyone's expression changes the moment they see he has a dragon for a companion. Realizing that people are already staring B down with jealousy, Ariana quickly pulls him into a private room. There, she stamps his form and hands him an F-rank bracelet, explaining that it is standard policy for all beginners to start from the bottom. Seeing that, B happily wags his tail since their bracelets match now, and the two bump wrists together to celebrate their official start as adventurers. The next day, Takeru lays out the belongings of the dead adventurer whose body he found in the forest near Tormi village. The boy's name was Belria Fend, and Takeru heard at the guild that he was on a quest to earn money for his father's medicine. Seeing how much pain the old man is in, Takeru quietly asks for permission to try something out. Later at the guild, he lays out all the items he gathered for a quest, and the clerk jokes that their client will be blown away by how big his mushrooms are. Right then, a pair of curious bunny ears peeks around the corner. Ariana shyly walks over to Takeru with a stack of requests from clients who specifically want him to take their jobs. Seeing how many there are, he takes a few for now and heads to the large public bath filled with clean green water. He remembers half a month ago when he first came to the public bath in Belkame and saw how nasty it was, so he used magic to remove all the impurities so he could enjoy a relaxing dip every day. At that moment, his lizard man friend named Clay joins him. Takeru is surprised that Clay came so late at night, and the lizard man explains that his old wound is acting up again. That reminds Clay about hearing that Takeru healed sick people in the slums, and he is surprised to learn that Takeru can also use healing magic. Takeru humbly says he was just copying something he saw, but Clay is impressed when Takeru admits he did not do it for money, saying he would have made a fortune if he had. Hearing that, Takeru jokes he hopes he will not be attacked by angry doctors for ruining their livelihoods. Clay laughs at how calm he is and then asks about his rank up. When Takeru humbly says he does not want an upgrade and prefers to stay low-key, Clay tells him to be more selfish in life and learn some common sense about how the world works. The following day, he heads to the guild to receive his payment, and the clerk politely tries to convince him again to upgrade his rank. He explains that there are many benefits, but Takeru assures him he has no intention of climbing the ladder because it would only invite trouble to his peaceful life, even though the guild would gain from it. As he silently wishes for his slow, quiet days to stay this way, a man bursts through the front door and yells that there is a goblin attack. The guild instantly kicks into action, recruiting all adventurers of D rank and above to defend, but Takeru casually steps out because he is just an innocent F ranker with no business on the battlefield. However, when the guild master spots him sneaking out, he immediately tells Takeru he has to join too. In the strategy meeting, the guild master explains that the goblins will advance toward Belkame from the south, so it is their job to make sure not a single one crosses the bridge over the river. Standing in the crowd of passionate men, Takeru feels like an arts student stuck in the middle of a high school football team. Out of nowhere, the beastmen standing next to him start mocking him for being a useless F rank and tell him to stay out of their way. Right after that, the guild master asks Takeru if he's the rising star Grit the appraiser mentioned, and compliments him on getting praise from someone who is almost never impressed by anyone. After that, Takeru's chill reaction to the guild master's intimidation skill only makes the man gain more respect for him, and much to the beastman's surprise, the guild master Rotor says Takeru has high potential indeed. On his way out, the guild master tells him he's sure Takeru can protect himself on the battlefield, and orders him to take care of those who need protection. Seeing the guild master recruit an F rank for the first time in her life, Wazeli apologizes for the guild master's selfish request and excitedly wishes him good luck. She introduces herself as a healing magic user and gets all fired up to work together with him and make the guild master proud. But he tells her with an awkward smile that getting too excited can be dangerous sometimes. The next morning, Wazeli starts crying at the mere sight of a bird monster, and when he tells her to calm down, she ends up having a full-on panic attack. Takeru realizes he needs to calm the crybaby down if he wants mental peace, so he holds her shoulders firmly. Wazeli refuses to admit she's scared, but he tells her she's an emotional mess who's shaking from head to toe before the goblins even attack. He gives her advice to simply focus on healing the wounded and doing her job properly, because she will be perfectly safe and far away from the battle. With that said, he assures her there is nothing wrong with being scared because it's completely normal, and fear is what gives you the strength to fight back and do whatever it takes to survive. Takeru's Oscar-winning speech instantly makes the little munchkin light up, and she promises to give it her all. Seeing all that, Clay walks up to him with a smug grin and repeats Takeru's own words back at him just to tease. Takeru sticks by what he said with pride, and Clay makes it clear he was genuinely amazed to see Takeru give such a passionate pep talk. Changing the topic, Takeru asks Clay why he's not on the vanguard, and Clay replies he can't move reliably on humid days like this because of his old wounds. Takeru recalls the huge claw marks on his back and asks if they are the cause, which really shakes Clay up inside. After going silent for a moment, Clay is surprised that Takeru is the only one who never shamed him for having a scar on his back as a warrior, since they are usually a sign of running away like a coward. However, Takeru entertains the possibility that he got them while protecting someone, and more importantly, Clay is still alive, so he can continue protecting others with his life. Clay smiles in amazement at his wise and grounded thinking. Soon after that, they hear a siren that signals monsters getting past the front line, so he quickly grabs his spear and tells Takeru he has to go. Takeru questions how he will do that when he can hardly move in rainy weather because of his wound, but Clay swears to protect him even if that costs his life. With that, he leaves for the front lines. Takeru then watches Mazeli reassuring an injured soldier while healing him, even though she was crying just moments ago. In that moment, he remembers the guild master's order telling him to protect what's precious to him, so he takes out his staff and covers the entire camp in a wide barrier. Then, he tells Mazeli to take care while he goes searching for Clay. On the front lines, all of the soldiers are doing their best to hold back the giant goblin horde charging from the mist. Meanwhile, Takeru runs in at an abnormally fast speed and stops before a gang of goblins blocking his way. He uses hardening magic to make his punch strong enough to smash a goblin into a faraway boulder, but that seriously hurts his hand. Still, he knows he has to do something soon, so he asks B to take them out instead. All of the adventurers duck for cover as B pulls a Pikachu and fries all the goblins with a chain lightning attack. With that, Takeru asks the Beast brothers Diego and Orald why they got pushed back so easily, and the brothers explain that a high-ranking species called a Goblin Sergeant showed up out of nowhere. They also mention that they managed to get out thanks to Clay, but they have no idea where he is now. As it starts raining, Clay continues slaying goblins left and right until his injury acts up again, causing him to fall. B's lightning saves him just in time, and when he warns Takeru that he should not be on the front lines, Takeru slaps him where it hurts and throws his own words right back at him. As they argue over who should retreat first, the Goblin Sergeant appears and jumps at both of them with terrifying force. The two get surrounded by the Sergeant's minions, and Clay tells Takeru to run away when he makes an opening. Seeing that Clay has no plans to back down, Takeru asks if the wound is a memory of something precious to him. When Clay angrily confirms it is just a mark of his past mistakes, Takeru makes B fry all the goblins around them to a crisp, throws his staff to his partner, and quickly takes out a pot of dragon mana water to dump it onto Clay's back. Clay gets bamboozled as Takeru tries to figure out the chant for permanent recovery. As soon as he says the magic words, Clay's wound begins to close and his body starts to transform. Takeru watches in awe as the lizard man before him turns into a dragon man and grows nearly twice his size, looking like he has returned to the absolute peak of his youth. After that, Clay tears through the goblin horde with his bare claws like a raging storm and wipes out every last goblin by the time the sun rises. While Clay laughs loudly like a complete maniac, the guild master approaches Takeru and asks if he is the one who healed Clay. He also says he heard about how Takeru fried all the goblins with his powerful magic earlier. Rotor then asks Takeru to confess who he really is, and when Takeru insists he is just a friendly F-rank material gatherer, the master decides to let it go and promises to reward him properly for his help. Later at the inn, Clay gives him a surprise visit, and Takeru is glad to see the big guy looking healthy again. However, Clay angrily insists he is definitely not normal because he still feels weirdly fired up on the inside. When the Dragon Man yells at him to explain what the heck he did, Takeru replies he simply used healing magic along with some magical water imbued with the mana of an ancient dragon whose name he can't quite remember, and it also happens to be B's dad or mom or something. The explanation leaves Clay completely speechless, and he asks why Takeru would use something so incredibly precious on him. So Takeru explains that it was a real emergency at the time, and he did what he had to do. When Clay then asks how he can use advanced healing magic, he claims he had a detailed image in his mind, and his vast knowledge of the human body made the magic quite effective. That makes Clay wonder who Takeru really is. Exactly. The sudden question makes Takeru panic since he does not want to lose his peaceful life by revealing his real identity, even if the Overseer never exactly stopped him from doing so. To his surprise, Clay does not push him for answers and quietly walks toward the door instead. On his way out, Takeru says he trusts Clay and reveals that he actually came from another world. The Dragonite smiles at his honesty, before going completely blank in confusion. Takeru tries to explain the concept of reincarnation to him, and Clay is shocked that such a young boy has already seen death once. After that, Takeru explains his whole story, and even though Clay finds it unbelievable, he has no choice but to accept it since Takeru's magic not only healed him, but it evolved him from a lizard man into a dragonite, which are the noble ancestors of his kind. While Clay is glad, he is also terrified of the overwhelming power that made him lose control of himself. Takeru says it is not a big deal since he is back to normal now, and all he needs to do is stay calm and avoid getting angry. That really grinds Clay's gears, and the man tells him to start taking life more seriously from now on. He decides to teach that to Takeru by making him follow his orders for an entire day. The next day, Takeru heads out to an equipment shop to buy something, and a cheerful beast girl who owns the place happily greets him. When Takeru asks if her store deals with material harvesting gear like his scissors, the girl says no, but she instantly recognizes him as the famous gatherer in town and introduces herself as rival. She says she might be able to help because her boss is the renowned blacksmith Groudhaz, though he will probably make Takeru do a job in return. Takeru is glad to help out, so she leads him inside, where he is amazed by the blacksmith team's incredible work. Reborn says she also finds it fascinating and dreams of reaching her boss's level one day so she can forge a sword worthy of a true hero. After that, they enter the boss's office, and the old man immediately questions who she brought with her. She proudly says he is the famous gatherer, but the old man does not seem all that impressed by his reputation. Reborn excitedly suggests sending him to mine Eldra or so they can forge a powerful sword for the competition. Grout angrily replies that no gatherer would dare go to such a dangerous place, but Reborn argues he cannot know unless he asks Takeru first. Takeru quietly watches the two argue about the deadline until Reborn grabs the poor old man's beard, demanding to know if he can make a better sword with trash-quality materials. Grout yells back that the Eldra mine in Ryuthas is not only full of monsters, but there are even rumors of demons lurking there. Reborn suddenly remembers that it was the reason mining of Eldra or had stopped, and she realizes she forgot to mention it to Takeru. Grout scolds her, saying she cannot be a blacksmith if she does not value the lives of others, and he refuses to send a young man on such a dangerous mission. Hearing that, Takeru calmly asks if the boss will be willing to craft him a pair of special scissors if he brings back Eldra or from the mines. Grout wonders if he is deaf, but Takeru confidently pulls out the claw of a monster even B-rank adventurers could not slay. With that, he sets off for Ryuhai mines on a carriage. On the way, he overhears a girl mention how poisonous plants have appeared in a nearby village, and a man says there are strange rumors about the forest, too. Takeru wonders if that might be his fault, but he quickly dismisses the thought and gets off at a horse farm. Suddenly, he hears a loud voice complaining, and it turns out to be an elf who is angry because the seller showed her a fluffy bird instead of the white flying horse she asked for. The seller explains that everything used for travel at his farm is called a horse. The elf apologizes, and the seller tells her she might find what she is looking for in Vosro, the nation of dwarves. Takeru is surprised they are heading to the same destination, but he decides to make a quick stop to gather materials from the forest first. As he is in the middle of harvesting some flowers, Takeru hears a familiar roar echoing somewhere nearby. As expected, he finds the source of the rumbling is the elf's starving tummy, so he gives her some water and food. She thanks him for saving her a second time, but because she has not showered in ages, he uses clean on her before she ruins his fantasy image of elves. The elf is amazed by his magic and happily introduces herself as Velverita Brolite. When he struggles to say her long name, she tells him to just call her Vel. After showing her gratitude, Takeru starts walking off, but she stops him because elves always repay their debts. When he says he only helped out of kindness, she insists on helping him with his job, and B sounds quite pleased with the idea. Later, she proudly shows him a rare anteater poo she found lying around, but he tells her it is just a rock. She comes back again a second time, but this time she just found actual poop. As he watches her goof around with B when she finds a poisonous mushroom, he realizes the two dummies are on the same mental level. But when it is time to set up camp, she surprises Takeru by saying he should use firewood instead of magic stones so other adventurers will know it is a safe spot. Later, she returns carrying a whole log instead. When Takeru complains, she tells him to relax, then throws the log into the air, slices it into 100 equal sticks with her daggers, and lands them in a perfectly stacked pile ready for use. As Takeru wonders if all elves are this wild, he appraises her daggers and becomes impressed because they are the first A-rank weapons he has ever seen. Later at dinner, Vel and B instantly melt when they taste his finely cooked stew. After that, she asks if he is heading to Vosro, and Takeru confirms he is going there to mine Eldra ore. When he asks about her reason for traveling, she says she is searching for a white divine steed for her sister. Vel feels bad that he keeps helping her while she does nothing, so Takeru offers to hire her as his bodyguard. Hearing that, she gets fired up at the idea of being the swordswoman who will protect her master, but he adds that he also wants her to teach him common sense. Vel is shocked that that is all he wants from her and believes their meeting again was fate. Takeru blushes when she smiles and accepts his offer to become his bodyguard, but he is really annoyed later that night when her obnoxiously loud snoring keeps him awake the whole time. The next day, the The two finally reach the bridge leading to a big city, and the first place they visit there is a restaurant where they try the dwarf specialty called juke meat rolls. After the first bite, Vel says the food tastes just as amazing as her friend once told her. When Takeru asks if her friend is also an elf, she says her friend is actually a lizard man. She explains that he was honored with the title of Dragon King and thinks Takeru might have seen him since he traveled to Belkane the last time she saw him. At that moment, Clay suddenly chimes in, saying he has done more than just see Takeru. Vel casually greets him, but Clay side-eyes Takeru and reminds him he never said goodbye before leaving. Takeru insists he left a report at the guild, but Clay is still annoyed because his report was terrible. While Vel keeps munching on meat rolls, Takeru completely shocks Clay by saying he plans to gather Ildra ore in the Ryuhai mine because he thinks it is a job way too difficult for someone of his rank, but Takeru says they really looked like they needed his help. Clay hopes he is doing it for a good price, but when Takeru tells him he will get a custom pair of scissors and some pots he can use to make egg rolls, Clay admits he still cannot decide if Takeru is just way too nice or simply weird. With that said, Takeru says it is time to leave, but B and Vel argue they should at least stay for dessert. Suddenly, Clay offers to join him on his journey to Vosro as well since he needs to get his spear repaired there. Hearing that, Vel asks if he is also going to become Takeru's bodyguard like her, and Clay admits he likes the sound of that too. With that, Takeru gains an overly wise old samurai and a beautiful yet clumsy elf in his party, but he has a strange gut feeling his journey will not go smoothly. Outside Vosro, Takeru notices there is a massive waiting line at the checkpoint, but Clay manages to get them special entry because he told the guard he came to meet an old friend of his. The guard leads them inside while explaining the history of Vosro, which was originally built on top of an iron mine, but now it is a beautifully constructed underground city. The gang is amazed by the grand sight, and the guard tells Sir Clay that the king himself wishes to meet with him soon. When Takeru curiously asks if he is truly friends with the king, Clay awkwardly admits it is true for better or for worse. The guard excitedly mentions that Clay saved the country from ruin long ago when he defeated the Roaring Thunder King Zengum. However, Clay corrects him, saying it is not really true because the dwarves were very weak at that time, so a demon forced them to pay tribute regularly, but that same demon flew off and vanished when he saw Clay. The guard proudly shows everyone the massive Godzilla-looking statue with Clay's name engraved at the bottom, made to celebrate his heroic act, which really embarrasses the shy old guy. Later at the Dwarf King's castle, Clay starts off by complaining about the giant statue made of him. While the two argue like little kids, Takeru politely introduces himself to the king, and the king tells him to drop the formalities and say what he came for. Takeru hands over a letter of introduction written by Master Groudhaz, requesting permission to enter the mines. The king asks Takeru if he knows about the earthquake from around a month ago, after which the mines were completely taken over by demons. Takeru says he's fully aware, and Clay assures the king that he and the skilled elf will serve as Takeru's bodyguards. Hearing that, the king grants them permission to go and forces a mission to discover the truth behind the demons on them, which annoys Takeru since he only came here to mine some ore. After that, the gang meets with Zanbua, who will be their guide through the tunnel leading to the mines. Inside, Takeru amazes Vel by summoning a ball of light first, and then uses a spell that makes a copy of the original map that works like a live GPS. With that, he heads deeper into the mine, but all he finds are low-quality materials. Right then, B senses something approaching, and everyone gets ready to fight whatever is coming. He uses search to confirm that there are two monsters swiftly flying straight toward them. Clay plunges his spear into the first one, while Takeru paralyzes the second one, letting Vel slice it apart with her daggers. Even though she is covered in monster blood, she excitedly jumps up and down, asking Takeru what kind of magic he just used. Deeper inside the mine, he feels the magic pressure getting stronger and walks up to a dead end because he can sense Ildrite, which is a purer and stronger version of Ildra ore. After he tells the others to stand back because he wants to mine using his own method, Takeru hardens the walls around him and launches fireballs that explode on impact right in the center. The explosion scatters Ildrite crystals all over the floor, and Zanbua cannot believe they discovered a whole vein of the rare stuff. However, their celebration is cut short when B starts making noise, and they all hear the sound of heavy footsteps approaching. Zombo panics because it is a demon, so Takeru tells Clay and Vel to let him take care of it. Clay warns him that he has no idea what the enemy is capable of, but Takeru silently steps forward and claims his prey has arrived. Clay shouts it is a demon, but Takeru and B start drooling because it has been a long time since they last ate juicy crab legs. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.